Can you travel with your pet? Of course you can. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of traveling with your fur friend. So if you're like me, I don't go anywhere without my dog Willie. He's a part of the family and we tend to base a lot of our travels mainly around him. Before Willie, we traveled in a larger RV with two dogs, Cherry and Nikita. Unlike Willie, they had never traveled much and were older as we started out in the RV. I wanted to help those of you who are traveling with your pets with some pros and cons, places you can go, do's and don'ts, and just basic guidelines to help make your pet feel comfortable on the road with you. For Willie, this has been easier because we started him off at 10 weeks, basically taking him everywhere. So he was used to riding in the car, boats, off-roading, and adjusting to new places quite quickly. But for our past dogs, they were older when we started RVing. We had to make sure that they were comfortable, like on the long hauls and across country. First, I'd say to start them off young, but if you can't do that, then start off with a small trip. Maybe even in your driveway, getting them in and out. Take things they're used to, like their bed and some of their toys, and reward them every time they get in and out. When we started out in 2015 full-timing with our two big dogs, we didn't think of basic safety. We're 70s kids. So, of course, we let them sleep on the dashboard and run the RV. But now with more common sense, we're only traveling with Willie wearing a safety harness and attached to his seatbelt. This means more breaks at the stops to let him out, but this hasn't been a problem because we like to stop and explore a lot. Also, you have tons of places like Love's truck stops that even have these little fenced-in dog runs. We use the app Bring Fido a lot to find dog parks nearby, dog-friendly restaurants, and special activities that you can take a fur friend to, like Dog World in North Carolina, which was like the greatest trip ever. We love to use places like Pet Paradise when we want to have a dog-free day. The reason we love this place is because they're all over the country and they generally all look the same. So Willie is used to the environment, but with new friends in each location. It's important to know your dog's boundaries and you never want them to be uncomfortable. This tends to knowing your dog and the type of breed. Willie is a working breed. We actually made a game where he looks for deer, bear, and squirrel while driving. This gives him a job and keeps him busy while driving. They're just like kids. You can't expect a very hyper breed to sleep 5 hours a day on the road. So please know your dog and recognize what they're comfortable with and adjust if need be. Let's talk about etiquette when you're staying at a campground or any kind of campsite. There's nothing more annoying than going to a park and wanting some R&R, and you pull into the campground and you're sitting there and all of a sudden there is a dog barking loudly for hours. Many parks do let you leave your dog in your RV and you can go out for the day. But I think the most important thing is realizing this is kind of rude if you have a dog that barks very loudly. A lot of parks will actually call you and have you come back to your RV if your dog has been barking excessively for many hours. And they'll have you come get your dog because you have to think of the people around you and they're trying to enjoy themselves as well. Also, when you're at a campsite, don't assume that all pets are friendly and want to play with your sweet pup. Keep them on a leash and only run free in designated dog areas that are fenced in. Most campgrounds will give you a list of the rules. National parks. Our goal this year was to see as many national parks as possible, but we found that they don't allow pets on most hiking trails. You need to read the rules of each park, and you'll find many are not able to go on big hikes to some of the most beautiful places, but you will be able to drive and stop and pull off and let the pup walk while getting some of the most gorgeous pictures ever. We found plenty of beautiful hikes along the way that were dog friendly and was totally worth bringing him along the journey. So I guess if you're on the fence about traveling with your fur friend, I would say absolutely. If you know your pet's personality and what they're comfortable with, and be patient as this is all new to them. There's just so many new smells and noises that they're not used to. Always consider how they are reacting and adjust to that. Don't assume that they're going to know what to do correctly. Taking your fur friend on adventures is just as beautiful for them as it is for you in making lasting memories.